This week on the podcast, Carrie and I are answering some of the questions that you sent in. Fun ones like, do we strike up conversations with the characters when we see them in the parks? And what would a non-Disney fan say if they walked into either one of our homes? Stay tuned to find out the answers to those questions and so much more this week on the podcast. You're listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. Hi, I'm Francine.
And I'm Carrie.
We're two best friends who can't stop talking, usually about Disney stuff.
Sometimes we have fascinating guests, and sometimes it's just us, but it's always positive and fun.
We're happy to have you join our chat. Thanks for listening, and let's get started. Hi, Carrie.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
You're here.
I'm here.
You're here beside me.
Live.
This is different.
Yeah.
So for people listening, it might sound the same to them, but for us...
Does it?
Well, yeah, I wonder.
Does it sound better?
Hopefully. I'm sure it does, because we're sitting side by side this time.
Yeah.
Instead of on a Zoom call.
Right.
So, thanks for coming in.
No problem.
It's, you're not 5 minutes away from me.
A couple more minutes, but not that far.
Well, it's far from me. I'd like to think it's far, but you're like, no, it's not really that far.
Well, you're welcome. I took the drive.
Thank you. And I did offer you a cupcake when you arrived.
Yes, there was cupcakes.
There were cupcakes and tea.
This evening we might not sleep because there's tea.
Yeah, I know. We probably shouldn't have had so much tea.
Water.
Yeah, I know.
But anyways, I'm here.
You're here, and we decided to record in person, so that's fun. And yeah,
what are we talking about?
This week...
We were too busy drinking tea and eating cupcakes.
I know, right? So this week, we had talked about doing Ask Us Anything. So we had sent out... we'd asked on the podcast. I sent out emails. We've done all that kind of stuff. And asked people for questions to, ask us anything. And, Carrie, we got a lot of questions. So... we actually have enough questions for 2 or 3 episodes, quite frankly.
Fun.
So this one, we figured we'd start with some of the questions and take it from there. And yeah, like they're kind of fun. Like they've got some really good questions.
Yeah, some of them we've put to the next episode because we need to think about them a little bit.
Because it was like, whoa, this is a good question.
I need to write that answer down.
You need to write. Well, we need to. It's almost like you need to percolate on it. Yeah. So some of the answers, some of them we were good. We were ready to go, and then sometimes we were like, okay, we'll do that in part 2. Cool. So shall we just jump right in? The questions are really good this week.
Okay.
Want
me to ask the first one?
Sure.
Because the first one's more about your trip. It was asking about your Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway. What is it? Railway?
Mickey. It's the tongue twister of the century. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Railway. MMRR.
That's it.
And they are asking, how did you ride it so many times? Because it's a new ride and it's supposed to not be that way.
Right.
You're supposed to wait forever and go on it once in the whole trip.
Yeah, you know what? And it worked out perfectly. So I went one evening right after a big rainstorm. Mm-hmm. And when I got there, we really waited maybe 15 minutes for it. And then we got off the ride, we went and did some other stuff, and then we came back, and there really wasn't much of a line. If you do it at the end of the night, it seems to be okay. And then when I went back with my friend Anna, we walked on.
Wow. And was it after a rainstorm?
No, it was after it had gone down. So the attraction had broke down, and we walked up, and the cast member was like, sorry, it's not running right now. And we were like, okay. And we started to walk away, and I saw one of the cast members, like, put their ear up, like, like their earpiece, like, they look like Secret Service people. And then I'm like, oh, hold on a second, Anna, hold on. And then all of a sudden, you saw all the cast members walk away from the entrance, which means the ride's back up. Oh. So we booked it. And we just walked right on.
Nice.
It was fantastic. Yeah.
Should I have said who said that? I didn't say who said the question.
Yeah. So that was Ms. Puppy Love on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm new at this. Okay, I'll ask the next one too.
Okay.
Because they are more directed towards you and your trip. Did you book through a travel agent? I was told all resorts are booked now for November, and what does that say?
Oh, could that be possible?
Could that be possible? Yes.
Yeah.
And this is Becca on Instagram.
Yeah. So I did not book part of my trip with a travel agent because I used my Disney Vacation Club points. But for the Coronado Springs, I did not use my points. So yes, I book with Pure Magic Vacations. Shameless plug. That's who I book with. I always book with them because why wouldn't I? You were told that all the resorts are booked for November, and could that be possible?
Yes.
Yes, very much so. So the D23 event, we have tickets to go to in November, Carrie, and
yeah,
we can't get a resort in November. Yeah, so we're seeing the same thing, that there isn't a lot of availability.
Yeah, because there's a thing called the 50th happening.
I think that's it. I think I think it's going to be rammed.
Yeah, so it's possible that it could be, like, I don't know, that all sold out, but very, very limited availability.
Yes. Depending on your dates and which resort and all that
and what
kind
you're
of stuff.
really, like, you might look and the only thing that's available are deluxe or one bed, like suites in the deluxe or suites at the Coronado or something. So, yeah, you wouldn't have the full gamut of things to choose from. So it kind of, maybe makes you not be able to go because of the options that are there, right? The availability options. So, yeah, possible.
Yep, for sure.
I'm going to ask you the next one, too, because it's, again, about your trip. So this is from Marla on Instagram. Did you bring tea from home, or do you have a favorite Disney tea?
Oh, it's such a good question. So we could both answer this question, but I can tell you that I did bring tea from home. I brought my Tim Hortons tea bags from home because I was going to be working so much, and I drink a lot of tea when I'm working. So I brought that with me. But do I have a favorite Disney tea? No.
You're a Canadian tea snob.
I'm in Orange Pico, and it's hard to get Orange Pico there.
Yeah, they always have Earl Grey or English breakfast.
Exactly. So, yeah. I mean, I can take English breakfast in a pinch, but
I've had, like, at the Grand Floridian, had the tea, like, they have, like, the specialty, like, it's like, what's it called? It's like, it's the triangle baggies, whatever, but it's like their premium, like, diamond, whatever, and oh my goodness, that's
the gold tip,
gold, whatever, diamond anniversary diamond anniversary tea bags, and that's probably one of the most delicious, like, teas
you've
that I've
ever had.
Like, other than I've had some pretty good, like, chai teas and things that that people have made for me, but like a tea when I'm out and about like that, probably the most delicious tea. So
nice.
But like when you go to buy it at like the UK Pavilion at Epcot, like one box costs like $10. So you're like, maybe I'll just remember it. maybe I'll just have fond memories of the tea.
I'm not buying any more of this.
Maybe I'll just remember it as being one of the best cups of teas I ever had, and I won't bring home boxes of $10 teas because it's just like a 15 bag or whatever.
It's
tea box.
I know because
like
I have
the fancy ones, like the tip, the whatever you call them.
I brought back a couple of boxes for my sister's birthday, and I can say that on the podcast because she'll have it by the time this goes live.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's not really a Disney tea, but one of, like, a good tea that I've had
at Disney. It's a good tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask the next one then. Mm-hmm. Jenny on Instagram asked, do you call out to the characters and strike up conversations with them? I never know what to say.
Yeah, this is a good one because, like, really, I'm okay, like, chatting with, like, the fuzzy characters, but I don't really love chatting with, like, the face characters because they're kind of like,
it's different for you.
Yeah, well, really, the fuzzy characters don't usually talk. They just kind of nod and you do sign language, right? So that's a little bit easier. You can act goofy and be silly and try to communicate with them. They just nod and, like, do hand gestures. So, but yeah, like, because... Yeah, the face characters, they
like the princesses and stuff. You don't really,
like
they're in character.
Yeah, they ask you like, how did you get to Florida on your magic carpet? And you're like, yeah, I did.
Well, you then have to be in character.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
What about you?
Do I call out to them? Well, I wave and say like hi and like get all goofy like that. Do I strike up conversations? Sometimes it makes me uncomfortable. I think you're right especially with the face characters. Like Gaston made me really uncomfortable because I didn't know what to say to him, and it was like I was blushing. And like, yeah, it was, yeah.
And I think it's different, like, when you see them, like, how they have the characters now, like, distanced. Like, it's fun to kind of see them and get excited and wave at them like you would in a parade.
Yes.
That's kind of, like, I do stuff like that, where I get kind of excited to see certain ones.
But like, to have a full, yeah, to have, like, a full conversation with Peter Pan, like, yeah.
And it depends on who you're traveling with, too, right? Like, if you and I are traveling, we're not getting within, like, 10 feet of a character, probably close to, like, we're not getting too close to anybody.
But if I'm with other people, Disneyland, maybe, like, when they're wandering around at Disneyland, we've talked to them.
But sometimes your travel partners, like, that's their priority, so then I would spend more time, like, searching out, like, you know, waiting to meet Elsa and Anna or whatever.
I think it's kind of like, you know, striking up conversations with strangers that you know a little bit. Like, you know, if you're feeling it, why not? Like, if you think of something you want to say, you say it. Why? I'd like, if I can think of something I want to talk to them about, I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably don't go out of my way for a full-on conversation.
Yeah.
Right?
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Although I did have a really good one with Merida once when I went for a meeting with her. It kind of flowed. It's kind of like when you meet someone and the conversation just happens. Same with Alice in Wonder. Okay, so no, maybe I do talk to them a little more. Okay.
When you were at Epcot, Lisa on Instagram asked if you cruised by the Canadian Pavilion and noticed if they had the Canada ears.
Oh, yes, and I did, and they do not. So they had sold out of them when I was there, and they weren't sure if they were getting any more of them back. I love those like the ears that are themed for the country.
And these are the ones they're like the hat ears, right? Not the band, not the.
No, they were like the ears with like the little hockey sticks.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, so it's like the
ear ears. You know, that was very descriptive.
No, that's why I said the hat ears, not like the headband ears.
Right.
Yeah, they have hockey sticks and flannel and whatever, you know, all those Canadian things.
Those Canadian things, because, you know, we all wear flannel.
The things that I identify as a Canadian, hockey sticks and flannel.
Well, the hockey sticks I get. The flannel, like... Yeah.
There's another question about Canada we should do from Nicole. She asked, do we wish Walt Disney World served Tim Hortons coffee in Epcot in Canada?
Well, I don't drink coffee, but I would love a good steep tea there.
But they probably wouldn't have steep tea because no one would buy it. They'd try it for like a week. They're like, nobody's buying steep tea.
Because you can't get a decent cup of tea anywhere in there, right?
Nobody wants a decent cup of tea. That's the problem. So they would be like, okay, let's try coffee and tea. And then like after 2 weeks, they're like, okay, nobody's ordered a tea.
Would you go and get a coffee if they had a Tim's in
No, I don't.
Canada?
I don't know because I don't necessarily love Tim Hortons coffee. But...
and you call yourself Canadian.
I call myself Canadian. Why don't they have a Tim Hortons logo on that ear? But I think they should have I think they should sell Tim Hortons coffee and Tim Hortons Timbits at Epcot because, you know, they don't, like, that's a representation of what Canada is.
Yeah.
And they also, they try to do poutine at Walt Disney World and fail.
Oh, it's horrible.
So they should just get frozen Timbits shipped down there and Tim Hortons coffee and the mug and the little paper cups that we have, and they should just serve that and then do the Canadian thing right.
I think Tim Hortons. Yep, it's a much better representation of Canada than some of the stuff they have in that pavilion.
But who knows, like, you know, like a Canadian chocolate bar costs $4, so who knows, like, people might not buy a cup of coffee. It might be like $8.99
for coffee. A double at Tim's is $8.99. Yeah, that's true. But I would like to see it there because I think people identify Tim Hortons with Canada. Yeah.
I wonder they haven't done that.
I know. It's kind of surprising. Maybe that's our idea. Let's open a franchise, Carrie. We need like $10 million. Okay. All right. Leslie at PMB sent us a bunch of questions, and we had to kind of split them up. Her questions were hard.
Yeah.
But good. Like, thought-provoking.
Thought-provoking. Thanks, Leslie.
Yeah, so Leslie asked, if a non-Disney fan walked into your home, what is the first thing they would say?
Like say or see?
Say. She said she wrote say.
I don't think if somebody walked into my house, they wouldn't know that I'm a Disney fan. The only way they would know is like when I walked in and I said, and they were like, oh my goodness, you have 5 cats. And I'd be like, yes, Figaro, Minnie, Mittens. and they'd be like, oh, they all have Disney names. And I'd be like, yes.
Mittens is Disney?
Yeah. Bolt.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, look at
Mittens
you.
Mittens was almost not called Mittens because for that reason. Because I was she has extra thumbs, right? So she's got those big mittens, and how do you not call her Mittens? And she's adorable, like, call her Mittens. And I was thinking, well, I can't call her Mittens because that's not a Disney name. And my sister-in-law was like, yeah, it is. Bolt. And I'm like, thank you very much. Mittens it is.
Oh, there you go. That's right.
Yes. So that's so they'd see my cats.
Mittens. Okay, so they
because my Disney stuff is in a different... My Disney, I have a room
You
that's
have a
Disney.
room of Disney.
So, yeah, there's no Disney when you walk in my house. So...
Right.
How about you, Missy?
I think a non-Disney fan walked into my home. The first thing they would say is, why do you have a picture of a ghost / skeleton on
in your foyer
wall? Yeah. It's like one of the first things you see when you walk in.
Yeah.
And that's...
a Dole Whip welcome mat.
A Dole Whip welcome mat and my ghost picture from the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think.
They would know right off the bat.
Well, the ghost is me.
I know.
So it's, But yeah, that's what they would ask. Okay.
They would say weird.
Number 2 from Leslie. Have you ever bought something at Disney that you regret buying? And we kind of talked a little bit about this.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think we probably all have bought stuff. Like, not like, I think it's the level of regret she's looking for. Like, life-changing regret that, like, I can't, like, I can't buy litter for the cats this month because I spent too much money at Disney, or just like regret that like I bought something and I didn't use it. Like, yeah,
I think I could totally think of probably a lot of things that I've bought that I didn't use. We could actually phone a friend and ask your sister, who's the person who sells all my stuff that I don't use. In fact, when her and I have been shopping in the Disney store together, she always says to me, make sure you're buying something that has a good resale value.
Yeah, so I think it's like whether, I'm sure we've all done that. Like, I find as we go more and more, like, we probably we know what we want to buy. Like, I don't know that I buy a lot of things that I don't use. But,
I think there's been shirts I've bought that I didn't try on until I got home, and then been like, well, it doesn't fit or it doesn't look right or whatever.
But yeah,
there's been a couple Doonies that I've bought and been like, yeah.
Well, that would be a regret. That would be like a bigger one, I think, because those are expensive things. Like, I think. Yeah, and because I can't decide which Dooney to ever buy, so I can't have that regret yet. But I think there's a lot of the opposite, like the regret of what we wish we would have bought. We all probably have
there's
that.
A lot of that, yeah.
And I always have, like, I remember in my early years, like, when you went to Walt Disney World, you could buy, like, the Mickey Mouse waffle maker.
Yes.
And now you can now, like, they sell them at Targets or whatever, Target and Walmarts and things like that. And they're different, but, like, you used to be able to buy, like, a really good one.
Yeah.
Back in the day. And I was like, what do I need a waffle maker? I've only been here a couple times. And then, trip number 3, you're like, where's that dang waffle maker? And they never, ever you sold them there again. But, like, really cool from Walt Disney World waffle maker.
And then they discontinued these things, and then you can't find them.
Yeah. And then things like little regrets, like, you don't buy something and you wish you bought it, like shirts or pins or hoodies. But whatever, like, really from that level, like, you're just gonna, it's like you have regret until the next time you go and you see 100 more things you want to buy and you've forgotten about them.
Exactly.
You didn't buy last time, so.
Exactly.
Anyways. Yeah.
Okay. Third question from Leslie. What is a phrase you hear often while at Disney that just makes you roll your eyes?
I don't know about this one.
I thought I have quite a few. Like, my first one, do you know how much I paid for this trip? Like, I've heard people say that to their kids because they're not having as much fun as they're supposed to. Or I've heard people say that to, like, cast members. Like, You're not giving me the magic that I need. Do you know what I paid for this trip? Like, give me a break. We all did. Yeah, that makes me roll my eyes. Big time. Big time. Another one is, you'll get enough sleep when you're dead. Like meeting, we got to keep going, keep going, keep going. That drives me crazy.
How about when you're in the haunted mansion in the stretching room and the person's... The person is saying really, really loud the words.
That drives me crazy. And I know all the words.
That makes your eyes roll.
That makes my eyes roll. Like, we know all the words.
You gotta just whisper them.
Well, or just mouth them. You don't have to make a sound. Like,
mouth them or whisper them. Just to
everybody's
yourself.
there to hear the ghost host talk, not you. Not Susie from Iowa who wants to show off she knows all the words.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
That's
me
kind of
roll
where
my
I go
eyes.
when I think of that. But yeah, like I think a lot of like you hear, this like examples of the things that you had said, but I can't really think of anything too specific.
Yeah, that bugs me.
So.
Okay. The next one. Jenny on Facebook sent us a question, and it's more about our opinion, I think. Why, if they already are opening everything, the pass holders still need to make park reservations, and when we try to make the reservation, it isn't available.
Oh.
So, yes, I forgot to make a lot of park reservations when I was there.
I think that's hilarious, but not how, like that.
Well, because I'm so not a planner. But why are they still doing this? Like making park reservations? I think it ties into the genie.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're going to keep it because it's how they're going to be able to forecast the wait times. Mm-hmm. Based on the number of people they're expecting at the park. And
I wonder, so if this part of the genie all along, like, we think, oh boy, it's COVID, the parks were closed forever, they have to have very, very limited capacity, oh my goodness, we better have park pass reservations. Was this the plan all along? And COVID just gave the nice, like, ooh, this is a great way to introduce this to the population. I think Disney's definitely had lots of opportunities with this COVID stuff to, like, slip stuff in and kind of gradually introduce things instead of like, boom, here's the genie. COVID didn't happen. Here's the genie. And here's all these things that are changing. Like they were allowed to, like, this allowed them to. Yeah, I think kind of slide a few things in and let people get used to things differently, right? Like how long without fast passes, and then, well, guess what? They're not fast. There's no fast.
There's no fast passes now, right?
180 dining reservations into 60. Like, is it always going to be 60 then, right? Like, I think this gave them a great opportunity to make changes. Mm-hmm. And I think the park reservations are probably here to stay for a while, especially through the 50th. And I think generally, though, other than when things have been really, really, really busy, that there really hasn't been too much drama around the park pass reservations, right? Like, no. I think as long as you remember to make them and remember that you need them to go into a park, like, I don't think they're as bad as you would imagine. Like, I think it's more about letting Disney know who's coming to the park than it is about keeping people out. Yeah, and the users I don't think that it's a bad experience for them. No. So hopefully, you know what? I think it might be around to stay for a while. Or forever. Forever? Forever? For the first time. Okay. When you do that and you start to sing, I think of the Muppets 3D, where Gonzo says, forever? Oh my gosh. I did watch that. So you start singing. You do know, like, people don't even know that you sent, when I was at Hollywood Studios with our friend Anna, you sent her a message and said, make sure Fran goes on the Muppets 3D. Yeah. Yeah. So I had to do it while I was there and send a picture. Yep. To prove that I had gone on it. I don't know why you wouldn't go on it. Oh, yeah. And we even, like, FaceTimed you, like, video chatted just to show you that we were in there. Evidence, proof. Evidence, yes. Okay. Stephen asked, are there any tours that you recommend? And on a personal note, do they offer any backstage in Haunted Mansion? No, I don't think so. No, I'd love a tour backstage of the Haunted Mansion. I think, like, sometimes they do certain things, very special things for, like, cast members or for, like, like they did in the past for
like
Disneyana, like back in the day when they used to do Disneyana conventions, and they would give those members and fans like crazy experiences. They definitely did that, because my friend did that for years and years, and the story she has about the stuff she did during those Disneyana days is like jaw-dropping, like totally different than what opportunities we have now. But just there's all kinds of
what tours would you recommend? I have 2 that I think I'd recommend.
I'd recommend every tour if you're really interested in Disney to a certain extent, because you'll find the value in
all
them.
of them.
Yeah, I love the like there's the regular. I don't even know if they're all still called what they're called, like Keys to the Kingdom. And,
Keys to the Kingdom. I love that.
And they had
that
Backstage
tour.
Magic, maybe, or something.
Yeah,
that was the one that went to all the parks.
Yeah.
So I think if you're a certain level of fan, you'll find the value in doing them. But I did the Animal Kingdom one. What's the
Caring for Giants?
No, I did that. But the Wild Africa Trek.
Oh yeah, I haven't done that one.
That's a lot of fun. And there's lots of them at Epcot now too, right? Like there's all kinds of little different ones for Epcot, which I've never done any of them. But I think there's a lot more than there used to be.
Yeah, for sure. I think my favorite is Keys to the Kingdom. I just think the history they tell you and all of the details they point out that you maybe have never noticed in the Magic Kingdom are huge. Getting to see the utilidors is the tunnels under the Magic Kingdom is pretty cool. And and then just for fun, I do love Caring for Giants at Animal Kingdom. Getting to go, and it's a short one. It's not a full day experience.
Like you could do it every time if you wanted to.
I know. Well, for my sister listening, I've done it enough. I don't need to do it anymore. We've done it like 8 times, but it's definitely
they did a different it's a good one. There's another one too, or they had one that was
Caring for Rhinos or something like they
I've only did the Giants one.
I've only done the elephant one, but those are pretty cool because it's interesting to hear how they take care of the animals, what they do for them. They give you all sorts of behind the scenes secrets, which is fun. And
that one too with with the Caring for Giants, they always give you a little bit of backstage, a peek at the backstage. And the Caring for Giants, you have to drive all the way in back behind to get to the animal.
Exactly.
So, they drive you back to where the elephant area is, and then you walk in the back way. So for true Disney fans, big Disney fans, that's even just seeing that stuff is awesome beyond all the extra stuff you get out of going on the tour. So
and people who love animals, seeing that kind of stuff and how it operates, and that's a good one. I recommend that one. Cool.
I'll read the next one. So for Pixie Dust fans, do you do meet and greets while you're at Disney, or even in places close to home like Niagara Falls, Buffalo, New York, or Ontario, Canada? Of course, when the borders are fully open and everything's safe. We have a Disney store at the outlet in Niagara Falls, New York. I don't know, I can barely get you to go anywhere, so you're not
So I'm not a big one for long drives. Do we do meet and greets? So we've met with people in the parks, so we've done that in the parks. And we've never really had sort of a Pixie Dust fans meet and greet, aside from the cruise.
Oh yeah, we did a Pixie Dust fan cruise.
Yeah, but I don't think we've even thought about doing anything like that. We're always happy to meet up with people when we're in the parks and say hi, and
if they see we're there.
If they see that we're there. In Ontario, they do, before COVID, there were Disney meetups that where all the Disney fans would get together, and we would go to those and hang out. And so maybe after COVID, but if we're in the parks, definitely let us know, and we'd love to meet up with you. Say hello. Hello. I actually got a message from someone while I was in Florida that said, I saw you at the park, but I didn't want to be stalkerish. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you should have just come over and said hello. So that was kind of funny.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Cool. Nicole asked, when you're in Disney now and in the fall, how the cleaning is. What types of extra precautions are around the parks and hotels? Do you think extra cleaning is being done? Yes. I absolutely 100% think there's a lot of extra cleaning being done. In the rooms, they put like the remote control it's not a remote control. What's it called?
I know, every time you call it a remote, I think how many people are like, what is she talking about?
What do they call it?
No, it is a remote. No, it's a converter. You call it a converter. When you're in your lives, you're like, and here's the converter. It's all wrapped up and it's been cleaned.
Isn't that what it's called?
I don't
know.
I don't know.
Or do you call it when I think remote control, I think of like a remote control car from like
it's a remote control for the TV.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know that they get what a converter
the buttons you push to change the channels.
The little box. the little batteries in it. The AA's or the AAA batteries in it.
They so the high touch areas, they've definitely scrubbed them all down. They put that in a little bag. It's got a little sticker on it that says clean. Like, you can totally tell how much extra cleaning they're doing. Everywhere. Like, everywhere. It's huge.
And are they cleaning, like, what about the room cleaning?
So the room cleaning, they can't, so I didn't notice as much because obviously I wasn't in the room, but when I was at Coronado and I was working during the day and they would come to the room, they had their masks on, their gloves on, everything when they came in. Yeah. So it's definitely deep cleans. And before we checked into the Grand Floridian, they said that our room was clean, but they were waiting for it to be inspected before we got to go in. So, yeah. That was... So, I think it's pretty serious business.
Woo!
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll read the next one. This is from Nicole, too. I guess... This is a longer one. Maybe I should read it and paraphrase it. Will you be going to Walt Disney World when it is decorated for both Christmas and for the 50th anniversary? Will decorations for both be done? I heard on your podcast that the Christmas decorations will be less to make sure there's enough for the 50. Well, that was our opinion. Our hope and opinion. Ideally, to help maximize time to see the magic for both. I'd like to go to Walt Disney World for November 2022. Yes, a year from now, but want to see both. So, so like that's the thing. She's saying like they wouldn't go, like how to go to see both because they're not going to go like twice within that small amount of time to see.
Yeah. So I think we both have the opinion that the decorations were dialed back for Halloween.
We thought they were going to be.
I know. I was really ticked off when I got there and the pumpkins were all out. But they are less. Mm-hmm. They are less than they usually are. And I think that's for the 50th, right? Like I think they're trying to make a big deal out of the 50th, as they should. Mm-hmm. And, the orange pumpkins don't really go with the iridescent 50th. The Christmas decorations might go a little better with it.
Yeah, that's true. They might go along. Like, usually
like, color scheme-wise.
Yeah. And usually it's Christmas in Disney, like, early November.
Like as soon as they take down the Halloween, the Christmas goes up.
The 7th, the 8th, the 9th.
Yeah.
Like... As soon as Halloween's done, Christmas is there. So I think you just have to make sure you get there. I don't know. It's 18 months, so they'll be. If she was going next November, there'd still be 50th. Yeah. So,
but I think maybe by next year they'll be less fussed about making it stand out as much, right? Because it'll be nearer. It'll have been up for a year.
Yeah.
Like I think this year's the year that they're really going to focus on the 50th and. Hopefully, maybe next year it'll have a little more.
And you'll see Christmas is, like her first thing is she says, will we see this year for 50th and Christmas? So you saw it for 50th, sort of, because 50th isn't, you'll see it in October.
Right.
50th and full, you'll know for sure what's...
Yeah.
Because October 1st, it'll be all of the...
The 50th is out.
50th
like
will be
it's
there.
Done. Because they've got all the statues that have gone up now, too,
that
right?
That looks awesome. I can't...
Oh, my gosh.
That, just looking for all those statues will be fun.
Seeing them with our own eyes.
With our own eyeballs. And then in November, it'll be 50th and the Christmas for...
Right.
For when
we go for D23.
Yeah. So,
right.
Yes, we'll see it.
So we'll be able to report back on whether it's the same kind of Christmas decorations or more or less based on the 50th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Let's see. This is the last one.
This is the last one. I'll read it.
Good, because I'm never good at reading them, obviously.
What do you...
I didn't do very well with that one.
Nicole asked, do you ever or would you consider to review Disney movies on your podcast? Newer ones or classics, or any of the shows on Disney+. Maybe your top 3 classic Disney movies could be a podcast and talk about recent and newer ones as they come out, like Luca.
Possibly.
It's it's funny when we go through every week and we're talking about what's this week's episode, what's it about. We go through kind of what was in the news, what do we have opinions on.
Yeah.
We generally don't go back and think about like old movies or even, and it's always hard for us to end up watching the new things at the same time. Like usually you watch it and then I'm like a month later or vice versa.
Yeah.
Which is probably why we don't go down this route.
Yeah.
But we could.
We could. And
we could. Like, I like that idea of the top 3 classics or...
Yeah, I think it's good. I think those types of
top 3
topics
princesses
are good for, like, with some guests, too.
Yeah, I think...
because often our feelings about things are similar.
We're very similar, yeah.
Yeah, I think... it's good to have someone that has a different perspective.
Well, I'll tell you, when I was away with Anna, Anna's not a Cinderella fan. It was kind of off-putting.
Oh my goodness.
And we came to that realization when we were talking about the cupcakes.
See, I don't
because they had like a Cinderella cupcake, they had a Snow White cupcake, and that's how the conversation.
And I don't
came
like.
about.
I think for me, I don't like when it comes to the classic stuff. Like I didn't grow up like as a Disney fan, so I'm more of a theme park fan than a Disney fan. Like as an adult,
than a Disney movie.
Yeah, like I didn't grow up watching a lot of Disney stuff, and I didn't grow up. I'm too old for the Renaissance era, so I really I don't know. Like I'm a Disney Parks fan first and foremost, and then
but
it was
you've
like
seen like Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, and
but it's but I don't have any probably strong opinion about them. I had they didn't change, they didn't mold my life or inspire me to take different paths.
Well, they gave me a whole bunch of false promises. Let me tell you,
exactly. So
I lost my slipper years ago, but there's no prince returning it.
I'd be okay to talk about classic movies, but I probably would need to think about it because I don't think they would come to me as quickly as some other people might.
Well, yeah, we could totally do like a princess set, and then maybe like. I would love to do a podcast on things like Zootopia. I think Zootopia is one of the biggest... I know you're shaking your head at me because I can see you. I think it's one of the biggest underrated movies. Yeah.
I know. We always totally have... We feel we're not... Like, oh, it's me. My pressure. The pressure I always have about never being completely prepared for those. Like, I think when we talk about that stuff, we need to be a bit prepared.
But you see, you want to be prepared, and I think people want to hear just off the cuff what you think.
Yeah.
Like our conversations, because our conversations could go on for 3 hours about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that people want to listen to that.
If only people listen to our regular conversations.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so we did. So that was a good list of questions. Did we get all the ones that we had put together for today? Yes.
I think so.
Oh, the last one. Lindsay asked, what did I like about this trip that was different?
Oh.
I don't know how we skipped that.
One.
Yes.
What did you like about this trip that was different? Because you were alone.
That's it.
You had nobody there.
Yeah, I gotta tell. So that we have to totally do a podcast episode about what it's like to go with like a big group of people versus solo. Like, what's a solo trip really like?
Maybe you'll inspire people to do it. Maybe that's what the purpose of that podcast should be, to inspire people to not be afraid to go to the magic alone.
No, it's like and I love my family. I love my friends. I love going. I love going on vacation with them. But let me tell you, being in Disney by yourself is like if you're comfortable being alone, which I am, it's amazing. It really is amazing. There's nothing like it.
Like I've spent some time at Disneyland alone, but I was there with other people, but like I had park days all to myself because my friends were at a conference. But
right.
I don't know about being there completely. Like I'm just, they're gonna, like, the people that work there can be like, why is that girl, like, why is she there every morning from like 9 to 11 sitting on that bench eating an ice cream cone? How does she eat ice cream for all those hours? They don't know that I've eaten ice cream cone after ice cream cone. but they'd be like, boy, she just sits there all alone, smiling at nothing. She's just smiling into space.
Yeah. And it's so great.
Is that what you do?
That's what I did.
That's what I envisioned me. I would be like just sitting at the end of Main Street.
Yeah.
Pretzel in one hand, ice cream in the other, just smiling.
Exactly. That's what I did.
That's what you do?
That's what I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I did when I was there by myself. But
I got PhotoPass photographer. Like, I took pictures. I wandered around. I talked to cast members. Like, I just did whatever I wanted.
And you didn't wish you had somebody to talk to, or you just talked to yourself?
I just I never.
I guess now you really aren't. You really aren't alone because you have your phone.
You have your phone, and honestly,
so you can chat with people.
I could chat with people. Like the one day I was at the Contemporary, I called you and my sister, and we walked around the resort together. Like, yeah, I love it. I love being by myself in Walt Disney World. It's amazing. It's awesome. So yeah, we need to do a podcast about like the pros and cons of being alone. But I also do think too, with all the stresses of all the COVID regulations going, it was nice. People would be different than me on this, but I liked the fact that I was by myself because I had nobody else's stress to carry.
Yeah,
right? Just to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Like it was my own stress. And really, I work better when there's nobody with me in stress because I have no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of, yeah. So even though, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So we do have a bunch more questions that
we'll do them later.
We'll do them later, not next week, because I think people would get sick of our asking.
People might send in some more too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also had someone reach out they had a whole bunch of questions about the trip too. So that he says we didn't cover on the podcast. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff coming up, but we are still always looking for other topics too. So keep sending the suggestions.
Yep, it's helpful.
It is. All right, Carrie, it's that time of the podcast.
Yippee! It's my pixie dust.
It's your pixie dust. Now we didn't talk about this.
Yeah.
So what's your pixie dust this week?
Well, my pixie dust is easy. So I had this friend. She went to Walt Disney World for a month. And she just got back, and then I was like, "Hey, why don't we record the podcast in person?"
Yes. So your pixie dust is that you got to see me in person?
And
that wasn't it.
And that you brought me home all kinds of fun stuff. So it was like,
even though you yelled at me for bringing you some of this stuff?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I told you not to buy it for me, but then I got here and there was
everybody on Instagram said I should buy it for you.
There was a bag full of surprises, and that was awesome. So that's my pixie dust. That I got some fun stuff from Walt Disney World. I got a calendar. And I got some pins, and I got a really cool cat water bottle.
Yeah, see, when I posted that water bottle, and I said, Carrie, do you want it? Like, everybody but you replied.
My colleagues from my work were saying, Carrie, that's a really cool water bottle.
Right? Seriously, everybody but you. And I messaged you, like, everybody's replying and going, yeah, she has to have it. And then you're like,
do I need another water bottle?
I don't think I need another water bottle.
You want to know why I don't need a water bottle? Because I have a beautiful Disneyland gold water bottle at home because somebody needed to have this water bottle. And then she gave it to me a year later because she hadn't used it yet.
Have you regretted buying some? You know what? There's one of the things I regret buying because when we were in the store in Disneyland and I picked it up and I said, oh my God, Carrie, this is so beautiful. And you were like, Fran, put it down. You don't need
another water bottle.
You don't need another water bottle. I'm like, no. I need this water bottle. I'm going to use it every day. I'll take it to work. I'll use it every day. And I bought the water bottle. And then like 6 months later, I can't remember why, but I was cleaning out my room and I found the water bottle. And then I was like, yeah, Carrie, do you want it?
So I have a water bottle. So now I have a cat water bottle and a Disneyland water bottle.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll leave one at work.
There you go.
What's your pixie dust?
Well, my pixie... Okay, so that was good pixie dust.
It was great.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
I've struggled this week. with pixie dust because, I came home from a fantastic trip and then I had to go back to work and everything. But like I tell you, you can always find the pixie dust in somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So my pixie dust is that I have reignited my love of tomatoes.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so
if you would have said to me, guess my pixie dust, I would be here forever. Tomatoes.
So this kind of was born of an accident as from my Instacart. So, I never go to the grocery store. Tomatoes. So I always loved tomatoes. But
you do?
I love tomatoes, but I usually never buy them. So when I was coming home,
I got questions.
I was doing my groceries online. And I clicked, purchase so they could start shopping while I was in the car on the way home from the airport. And I had ordered, I thought, I'll get a tomato, because I haven't had a tomato. But I think I clicked 1 kilo, I don't know if it's kilogram or pound or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, the man brought me 8 tomatoes. So instead of the 1 tomato, he brought me a pound of tomatoes, and I had 8 tomatoes. So then I'm like, goodness. Oh my gosh, how am I going to use all these tomatoes? But I got to tell you, I forgot how much I love just slicing up a tomato and eating it.
Oh my goodness.
And then I also have these crackers with hummus, and then I put tomato on top. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
To you.
Let me tell you, I just did my grocery delivery because remember I said I'll order some cupcakes for you coming in today? I ordered 7 more tomatoes.
7 more tomatoes?
I did. I got 7 more tomatoes.
That story in a nutshell explains you. The fact that you were ooh, I think I'll order a tomato. Because I haven't had a tomato in a while.
Yeah. And then he brings me a pound of tomatoes.
So you never you love tomatoes. You had a love affair with tomatoes that you fell out of.
Yeah, but you know what happens when you live alone? There's nobody else to share the food with. So
tomatoes.
Stuff like tomatoes, apples, oranges, you kind of got to be in the mood for them, because if you order them, they go bad so quickly that if you don't eat them, then you're throwing them out, and that bugs me to throw out good food. So
you just go without tomatoes.
So I just go without.
And you have this void.
I have this void. You've seen my fridge. There's nothing fresh in it. It's literally water, beer, and milk.
Oh.
And some eggs. I have eggs.
But well, I'm glad that.
So now
I've
reignited my love of tomatoes.
You're going to eat so many tomatoes, then you're going to have to fall out of love with them again.
Well, it's so funny. I was on a video call with one of my colleagues, and I didn't have time for lunch. So I was eating, and he's like, "What are you eating while we're talking?" And I'm like, "Just tomato."
I think that your listeners should send you tomato recipes. What do you do with tomatoes? If you all of a sudden had a bag of tomatoes, what would you do?
I was thinking about, shouldn't I buy some of that cheese? You know the cheese that you buy, and you put the tomato on it, and then the oil on top or whatever. Where did I have that? I had that on the ship on the Disney cruise too. Yeah. So there you go. That is my pixie dust of the week. Sometimes you make a mistake with your grocery order, and it turns out to be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Right?
That's excellent.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you for listening. And, make sure you rate and review online.
And if you don't want to do that, make sure you send us your tomato recipes.
Exactly. Thanks for listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
Make sure you're following us on your favorite podcast player so you'll get a new episode every week. And find us on social media too. We'd love to hear from you.
Till next time, remember, you are never too old to be young. Chase your dreams and design your own happily ever after.